hello. How is everyone tonight? Tonight we're going to do another creator hangout. It's going to be a little different. We're going to talk about some current events. We're going to go over some Kickstarters. We're going to try to raise some money, guys. Never been here before. If this is your first time, here's what it's about. I'm going to invite some creators on the screen. We're going to talk about their books. Most of them have Kickstarter Live. Some of them don't. They just want to hang out. That's cool. We're going to do both. But I'm not going to fuck around. All right. I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to ask for your money. I'm going to ask for your donations for their good books because they make great books. So I'm going to write down on a piece of paper what I think that we can raise tonight. It's going to be low because of State of the Union. I'm going to give you guys a pass. So probably only going to try to get everyone one backer, but that's one backer closer to their goal, one backer close to cover that shipping cost if they're already funded, whatever the case may be. It's all about the community. It's all about growing this. But I need some favorites from you. One, if you're on Facebook. Facebook is always really weird, so I can't always see the comments. So I need someone to comment on Facebook just to let me know that you guys are there. If you want to give me those star things are cool. I get money for it. I got $3. I mean, not very exciting, but I mean, that's free $3. You know, that's a Dunkin' run. Actually, it's not. My Dunkin' costs $4.05, so that's not quite a Dunkin', but you know, it's leading towards a Dunkin', which anybody who knows me knows is really important. So let me see if those comments are working. Yeah, we got Sean Wood. Sean, I can't wait for your new book to come on. Come on, let's get you live. We got Igdia in the house with Totally Excellence. So things are working. Everything's good. I have a fruit by the foot. We're gonna see if it's a full foot in just a minute, but let's hang out. Let's hang out with some creators. First up, I'm going to bring up my boy who's complimenting me off air. And that's really all you need to do to be first on this thing is tell me that I'm talented. Chuck, go on and tell everyone again how talented I am. I know you waited till it was off the air, but I think it's important because not everyone knows.
Well, Travis, I know of you through our mutual publisher, but I think you're a great talent. I enjoy your books. You're a great guy.
Thanks, man.
And I'm your audience. I'm not a writer right now. I am a fan. Thank you.
However, you are a writer, and can I get those solicit numbers and maybe an image sent in the private chat so I can share that up when it's your turn?
Oh shit! I'd love to tell you that, but I don't pay attention to it.
Okay.
I'm old and I don't pay attention to it. I have a book with a band of bards right now called Working Class Wizards. Number 1 is out. Number 2 and 3 are coming. They're double-sized issues. I have other books coming called Christopher Kubrick, Nebraska and Matilda Saved the World from Nazis, fucking Nazis. And a number of other projects coming out. And I've done a couple things before that. I took about 10 years off, but I'm back. But right now I'm just here to, bow down. You're a great talent. I appreciate your books.
Nice. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's get some of my other good friends here. Caleb is he's a writer, but really he's best known for Giraffe. I think, at least to me. Does anyone bring up the Giraffe as much as me?
No. Literally, you're the only one who brings it up. So,
I'm the only one who cares in any way, shape, or form.
But I'm open.
Yeah, people. I mean, when I do a Giraffe thing, people come around. But it's like you said. Should I stop doing campaigns so that I can do a $300 Giraffe campaign? I don't know.
I mean, I think you should, but apparently you're selfish.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you're here. You were here last week with the lovely wife. I see no lovely wife. That's sad.
She is on a business trip, unfortunately. Maybe next time.
Oh,
I see a second wife in the background, boxes.
Yes.
Okay. We've got the very talented Rob Maltari here. How are you?
Good. How you doing? How's everybody else?
Am I a little crazy? Is it a little cleaner in your background than normal? I know it's not clean. Like it feels cleaner than normal.
I mean, I think it's just they're not normal. I think within the last year, I like got a storage unit, so it's slightly less. But if you look farther behind,
Oh, you see the boxes. You see the stacks.
No, yeah. You like there, like that stack behind. There's literally a tower back there.
Oh, we all have them. I mean, can you see in the corner there?
Yeah.
I mean, they're there.
This room is a total mess. It just is what it is.
It is what it is. And we have the beautiful Allison here. How are you, Allison?
All right, I'm doing. Can't complain. Well, I could, but no one would care. So
that's not true. Caleb would probably care.
oh, okay. All right. As long as Caleb cares, that's all that matters. And I have the mascot of Alley Cat Comics, who's none too happy when I pick him up.
And then we have someone I don't know, but came highly recommended by Global Frequency. Said you need to help this gentleman out. He's got a great book. People need to know about his book. So we've got this gentleman named Julius here. How are you, good sir?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. I'm excited to be on here.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun time. So here's what we do. Most of the people who have campaigns here know what we're going to do. We're going to do it. So like I said, we're going to write your stuff down on a piece of paper. I'm going to make up some random numbers. We're going to hopefully hit those numbers. And if I don't hit those numbers, I have to stay on longer and yell at people until we hit those numbers. Kind of sucks for me. Doesn't suck that much for you. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have a good time. But, for the next 9 minutes, I want to have a little conversation because comics are wild right now. We have, if you're in Florida or maybe you heard about it, we have AI art that was used to do a con that they denied and came back. We've got the Scout Comics is going crazy over there. There's an article a day coming out over there. The question is that I have to ask everyone, are we safe? Are we okay? Because it's literally going like, it's tough. Like you can't say anything like on anything. I saw someone like try to go, well, maybe they didn't know it was AI art, and that was not enough. Like you apparently need to know and be an art carnivore. I mean, I knew it was AI art, but maybe someone didn't know, and I saw them sit down. I've seen people who've been like, well, I understand, but publishers not talking to you is a common thing. That was a response to the Scout thing. That was not a good response. That got yelled at quite as well. So are you guys safe? Do you feel like you have a voice and you can talk? We're hanging out. Let's see how you feel. Let's talk about it. How you guys feel?
You're safe if you fend for yourself. I mean, by that I mean don't sign up for some publisher who doesn't care about you.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah.
I hate to tell you, but every small publisher does not care about you. And if they do, I mean, it's like, I'm sure there are good ones out there, but you can.
They care about you to an extent.
You can do it better yourself. Rob right here is proof of that. He's kicking ass.
Oh, thank you.
And he doesn't need a publisher to do these numbers in a couple days on Kickstarter. So if you're out there and you think you need to get a publisher to do something, the answer is you do not. So
yeah, and if you do decide to sign up for a publisher, I think the best course of action is just know your history, right? You hear stories like about Bill Finger and what happened to him, and a bunch of other creators over the years. When you sit down and on that table and you get that contract, it wouldn't hurt to read the contract over yourself or hire a lawyer to read the contract to see exactly what they're offering you and what you're going to do.
I definitely second that. If you're going to sign something with anybody, definitely, I would say have a lawyer. Like, don't even don't like look at it yourself, but like literally get a lawyer.
Right? Yeah, of course. Totally, 100%.
Tell-all moment here. I did not get a lawyer to read my Scout contract, and I hired a lawyer later, and he said, "You should have hired me before you signed this contract."
Oh, ouch.
Fortunately, I escaped with my life and my IP. But
Good.
uh,
Good.
But yeah, if you're going to sign any contract, hire a lawyer. Don't, unless you are a lawyer, don't assume that you know
Right.
everything is that contract could mean, because there was a lot of stuff that the lawyer I hired explained to me that I wouldn't have known what it meant. Not really.
Right.
Yeah,
No, absolutely.
Use big words to confuse.
There's a contract lawyer in Illinois named Carmelo Chimera.
Oh yeah.
Fantastic name, but he also a number of years ago owned 2 comic book stores, and then he was famous for auctioning off a comic book store. But he is my contract attorney, and he is fantastic. But I second you in saying that if you don't have an attorney, you're working from behind the line. You need an attorney. There's no second. There's no substitute for it. You may think you know the law, but an attorney is the guy who knows the law, and that's the guy that you got to have an attorney.
And I mean, you don't even have to have one on retainer. For $500, an entertainment lawyer will review a contract for you and make recommendations. Which sounds like a lot of money, but if you're considering the fact that you could lose access to your IP or get screwed over or whatever,
Exactly, it's worth it.
I mean, yeah, especially considering what we pay to make comics. I mean, certainly
Exactly.
I know
that and court costs. That's a lot.
Court costs. Woof.
Well, here's the thing I'll say. Let me say something about that 500. If you're not willing to lose that 500, you're probably not in this for the right stuff, because the amount that you're gonna not gain, because even honest publishers, comics are hard right now in the direct market.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are not making it. If you can get page rate deals and there's other stuff, there's some good deals out there, but and then I know the publisher that Chuck and I go, the only reason why there's a little bit of money that flows through there is because they keep print runs low. But ideally, they should really print high, to have tons of stock. So, I mean, all these things factor in to try to make these things better. Not some are good, some are bad. It's just
the problem with having a lot of stock is like, especially for like small publishers, is that like, unless it's an issue number one, they're not going to be highly sold. Like the remaining issues, we're going to get less, especially, in a comic shop, it's going to be a lot harder to get like 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 of a series, or even like a, 4-part miniseries or whatever, to continue to get the, the numbers for them to be worth, printing at a higher level. And, with Diamond kind of being,
Yeah.
I mean, they only get 19% of they only need 19% now, so it's not they're not even the big player anymore.
No.
I've sold 4 IPs for options. I've never had anything made, but I've sold 4 IPs for options. I've made about $80,000 over 25 years, so it's not that much when you put it all together. But my agent is Ken Levin, who is the executive producer of The Boys. And in the end, if you don't have a lawyer, you're going to get fucked. And you absolutely have to have somebody who's going to represent your interest and somebody you trust. And the bottom line is, if you do not have a lawyer, people... I don't know how to put it, but I guess you can call it predatory publishers, right? If predatory publishers will find you, will farm your IP, and will make money at your behest, and you'll be fucked. And so you have to absolutely have representation.
I saw a question come up where somebody asked, if you're if you're making indie comics, what benefit is there to going with a small publisher? And I mean, yeah, there it is. I know that some people here are with some publishers and they might have had good experiences. This is my hot take. It's not. There's no benefit. There's literally no benefit. that
Not wrong.
I personally think you shouldn't do it because you can do better for yourself on Kickstarter, and then when someone maybe someone bigger will come calling, and then maybe that's a different conversation. But
So
that's just
the
how I feel.
only
Let me give you a
thing,
counter.
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let me give you a counter because I'm the opposite. My goal is to work for Marvel and DC, so I need to get I need to get beyond just Kickstarter knowing my name. I need to get into stores so they know my name. I need to be on shelves. But that being said, Gail, I know my risks. Like if I never make a dime on any of my publishing, don't tell them. I want my name on the book and on the shelf.
and
I'd
kinda-
like to.
to kind of second Travis, the only like for me, like as you mentioned, when it comes to like Kickstarter, I don't need a publisher. I do fine with doing it myself, but distribution wise, I'm only in a handful of comic stores who either I've driven to or who have bought off of my Kickstarter, right? So if I want to get into a mass distribution through Diamond or through what other distributors, it's easier for me to go with somebody who has that experience, that network, that connection, and the time to do that. Because I tried that during 2020 when everything went to shit and the big publishers weren't doing anything, and it was a nightmare. I was just like, you know what? I think I'm just going to go back to Kickstarter, and that's what I did.
I mean, yeah. I will say that I there have been people who found me through my Scout published book. I ended up having one issue published through them, and I do have people who back my Kickstarters who say they found me through Scout and whatever. And so it is a way to reach more people. That's true. I guess I'm jaded. And I had such a bad experience, and I made. I'll tell you, I made $125. That is what I made, from Scout. So maybe.
Oh yeah, and I totally. What happened with you is definitely crap, and I feel really bad, and I'm glad you got your IP back and everything worked out in the end. For me, of course, like if I was to take a deal, and believe me, it's got to be a really sweet deal. I'm not just going to sign for nothing. It's mostly going to be distribution rights to comic shops is really what they're getting out of it, because I'm still going to own everything. I'm still going to self-publish and put it on Kickstarter. You know what I mean? Like that, none of what I'm doing is going to change. It's either they're going to benefit me or I don't care.
You, as long as you have a lawyer review what you're doing and you make sure that's really the case, because there's a lot of publishers who are going to say that they're creator owned, but then they have these clauses in their contracts that really make them not creator owned.
Right.
And you're also still promoting yourself more than they're promoting you. So it's like they're not even doing the promised promotion work.
Mm-hmm.
You're still doing the same thing.
Where I'm the old guy. I don't think a publisher has to, a small publisher has to concentrate on you. They have to concentrate on them. They're working. Let's name names. Band of Bards. I'm working with them. Band of Bards is concerned with marketing Band of Bards, and I get that. That's fine. I have no problem with that whatsoever. My job is to promote my books, and I don't have any problem with that. But what I'm getting at is that they also don't own my MPs. They don't have any. If there's a big gigantic, if somebody jumps in and swoops up and says, "Hey, I want to make a Working Class Wizards movie," they're not going to make very much, if any, money. So I'm fine with that. But again, that comes down to the lawyer. That comes down to your representation. That comes down to the person who is looking at contracts for you and making sure you don't get fucked over. I don't know. Maybe I'm old.
No, valid point.
Yeah, valid point.
I think that is valid. I would say just from and I think, as Travis and I were joking before the show and I'm not really a shit talker, but I would say that this is a thing that I'm pretty bitter about. And I would say that I think it is a publisher's job to promote your book. And if they're not going to promote my book, then what the fuck good are they for? And I know, Rob, that you're going to say that they're for distribution because they can get me in a comic book shops. And that is true. But I think I don't give a shit about that. I think if people want to find me, they can find me. And we live in the modern age. They can order my stuff straight from my website or straight from Kickstarter.
This is true. This is very, very true. And we do very well at that.
No argument. It's at that point, it's a matter of viewpoint. Do you want to be the master of your what is it? Seinfeld. You want
master
to be
of your own domain,
right? I personally, I did a Kickstarter and it created $23,000 or $24,000. Yay! I'm happy. I own everything. But with Working Class Wizards, nobody gives a shit about Working Class Wizards. Nobody cares. So I went publisher route, and I'm happy about it. Truth be told, Band of Bards, they are they're nice guys and they're honest. So I'm happy with it. But I've seen the horror stories of what are we talking? Action Lab. I've seen the horror stories of Scout. I'm terribly sad about Scout because I think Brendan Deneen is a good guy. But what do I know?
He was nice to me when I talked to him. So
yeah, I feel bad for everybody involved in that because I know both the admins and the creators, and I feel bad for it. But it's a choice. Caleb, you are not wrong. I mean, you can own everything, and this is a different world. I'm old, but I understand what you're talking about. You can own your own IP, and you can.
I will. I'll say another hot take. If I'm going to go with a publisher, I don't care about being creator owned. If I'm going to go with a publisher, I want them to pay me a page rate, and I want them to pay me royalties, and I don't care if they own the IP. But that's where it works for me, because then I'm getting something out of it,
well, you have tiers there, right? I mean, like Mad Cave, Dark Horse, some of the image houses, they have budgets that they can pay, and then you can be fine. But some of the smaller tier publishers, they don't have page rates, and then you have to decide: is this worth it? Is this worth my time? Is this worth my effort? Is this worth my investment? And then that's up to you personally.
So lots of hot takes. We find out that Caleb can be angry. I'm excited about that. That's a new thing I learned today. I'm excited.
I think
she was quiet. But I'm excited. I'm excited about this turn of events because now I know a button for Caleb, and that's important in the future.
Collecting his buttons.
Collecting my buttons. I ate my whole fruit by the foot, like it was popcorn, watching the popcorn. So it's good.
And was it a foot?
Don't know. I ate it so quickly.
Certainly ain't wrong.
Of Bitter Souls, yeah. Chuck, I'm gonna look through my comic collection, and I don't remember reading your book, but I remember that
logo. Against anybody else.
No. But I remember that logo tremendously. So I'm like, do I own that? Because I have like 2 boxes of comics that are like old indies that I had no intention of buying, but I just want I need to buy all these indies.
I'm just gonna log off.
I'm gonna. It's on my goal. I need to get this crazy omnibus. You got your big omnibus? How big is it? Let me see it.
Oh, it's 400 pages with a slipcase and all Norm Brayfull art.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And a Tim Seeley cover.
Mwah. Can't get better. And who would have known like Tim Seeley being like as big as he is now? Like for years,
He wasn't
like
always that big.
right? What's up?
He wasn't always that big, but yeah.
No. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying like he's always been like kind of a middle of the road guy, and then all of a sudden, like, oh, I'm gonna kill it now in 2024, like 2023. It's wild.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's a good guy. He will. Everybody in this room, if you contacted him and he said, "Hey, I need some help," and you said, "I need some help with my indie book," he'd be like, "Yeah, let me do a cover for you for free." Tim Seeley is a fucking gem of a human being.
Rob and I. I actually should try to get him on Comic Level Up. I should try to do that, and maybe I'll have you reach out to him for me, Chuck. So
I will do so for you, Travis, anytime you wish.
That's great. All right, so let's talk about our books, though. Well, we've talked about some stuff. I was a Rogues fan, and then just got the run started, and it's by Scout. It looked and locked it until it's done. Tim Seeley's cool ass dude. I back all of his hack and slash on this. I love a huge hack and slash. And then Judah, I did a collection overhaul, and I guess I own like 30 Jim Lee number ones and like 20 of those full Torax. I should grab those down. I own a ton of that Wolverine versus Conan. I have no idea why. Like I'm always like, I need this. Stop stealing people I want my chat. No, you're good. Oh, look, we got someone in the background. Who is it? Hi, Steve.
Good night, everybody.
How are you?
Not too bad. Not too bad. How's everyone?
Hello.
Doing well. Doing well.
Awake.
This gentleman's coming to us from Canada, so Canada's being a foreign country. It's like 3 a.m. there, right? Like it's a completely different time zone.
To the Great White.
It will be at some point. In some parts of the country, yes, for sure.
At 3 o'clock somewhere.
Jimmy Buffett style, yeah.
So, all right, go ahead and send your link, Steve. We're going to start going through the Kickstarters. Since Chuck talked about Band of Bards, I'm going to do something different. I'm going to go over mine because this one's mine, but not mine for once. It's kind of a weird thing. So I have a Kickstarter live that is exclusive to Kickstarter. So if you've been in the comic stores and you've been getting my book, Coins of Judas, we have collected it in a trade paperback, which is pretty cool.
Which I'm glad
this is kind of unique.
did do it on Kickstarter because I got to be honest, I haven't been to a comic shop in a while, so this is how I'm getting it.
Very helpful to you, right? We're live with it here. It's not loading very well, is it? What's going on here?
Maybe need to refresh.
It's the stupid, like ever since I did that update, it's been wonky.
Oh, dude, that update drives me nuts.
Can I just say that? Can I just say that the concept of this book is it makes me want to punch you in the face, Travis, because it's a goddamn good concept. It's a great project, and I love it. I love it. No joke.
What?
It's the only reason I came on tonight because I respect the fuck out of you, and this is a great book.
Well, thanks, Chuck. Hopefully, I'm going to try to, if I move up, for some reason it goes away. So I'm going to scroll down and go through it. So this, oh my God. Let's see if it's just me, because we may not be able to show campaigns tonight. Hold on.
I think your variant on number 1 was better than your main cover. That's just me, but goddamn, good job, man. This book is fantastic.
My only
Travis is
question.
gonna have Chuck on every time now.
Yeah.
Right? We need him on.
My only question about Coins of Judas is: has Jim Butcher's estate been in contact with you about the whole Coins of Judas demons thing?
I actually just found out about that today. I've never read Dresden Files. I was unaware
then you're
of
in
it.
the clear.
I've never read any of that stuff. I will say when I first pitched the idea to people, said like Dresden Files has that, and I probably should have listened more because I literally like from what I understand about Dresden Files, it has everything. Like that's the thing.
It's
Like
like
demons, it has everything.
I mean, my assumption is that your book has a lot less sex than Dresden Files has.
It has zero sex. So.
I have a funny story about Jim Butcher. So, from before he was a famous writer, I used to be part of a group called Dark Duality, and we ran World of Darkness LARPs at different conventions in the United States. One of them was Gen Con when it was in Wisconsin. In the fourth book, it mentions that the city of Milwaukee vanishes for unknown reasons due to something the Fey Corp had happened.
Thank God.
That happened in our game. We're fairly certain he was a player in our game.
Oh, that would be kind of cool.
Considering that Jim Butcher is doing World of Darkness Light, basically for his storylines and everything.
Can we
Dresden
also
is
erase
amazing.
Green Bay?
All right, let's see if we can get this going. Hold on. Is it scrolling now?
There you go.
Okay.
You're good.
All right, we're good. All right, so Coins of Judas. All right, so what it's about the 30 pieces of silver. So basically, in my universe, I'm not sure what the Dresden Files is. Caleb, have you read it? So you can tell me how close it is?
I've read almost all of them.
Yes, I have read all the books. So go ahead and give me
All
your
right,
pitch.
so
I'll tell you how
here's
close
my
it is.
concept. It's about a family. They are a family of demon hunters. They are part of an order and a whole bunch of different orders that they hunt down the 30 pieces of silver. So when Judas betrayed Christ, 30 pieces of silver given. Those coins were used to buy the worst sins that you can buy in the world. And those sins spawn 30 individual demons, based on all the original sins. And then these guys are trying to sanctify them. Rumor has it if you can collect all of them, that the world will end. It'll Christ will return. That's positive part of the Christ return.
That's pretty different.
Yeah.
Caleb?
This is the metal cover. I'm just saying.
Chuck's at the metal. All right, hold on. Let me bring you up.
I'm just saying. Come on.
Wow.
I gotta bring Chuck on all the time. Like he's my hype.
Right? Yeah, I'm a Travis Gibb fan.
So
Nice.
I think in order for you to get a copyright claim, you'd have to make this book like 300% more horny. and then you'd be in trouble. So I think
Right.
you're good.
All right, cool.
Yeah, this has more of the 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo feel to it.
Yeah, I did a quick Google search today about his stuff. So basically, his coins, like our demons, are attached to the coins. They try to possess humans.
Yeah, if you hold a coin, it possesses you.
Yeah,
And then you get supernatural powers, but you're also beholden to a demon.
Yeah, I hate you for that concept. I would love to agree.
But yeah, this is really good. Look at this page. Look how cool this page is. Isn't that cool?
It's like Old Boy, but like
That's fantastic.
vertical. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
awesome.
this is going to be a series of pages in the book. It goes from 1 to 4, and then 6. You can kind of see the line. It's going to be fun.
Travis, who drew that staircase page?
That is our new artist. The guy who took over Tyler for the Gambler. It is Roland's. How do we say his last name? Can't remember how to say his last name. In a second.
Whatever, it's fantastic.
Callinus. But yeah, he's killing it. So this is an original trade. We have a soft cover and hard cover. We have a coin set. So there's really cool stuff in this campaign. If you like floppies, we have all the floppies. So that's what we've got. We just launched. The publisher's doing some cool stuff. All right, so we're going to put this down on our piece of paper. I would like it to get us to 80 backers tonight. We're at 2,959. I saw that someone already backed, and I appreciate that. We're going to try to get us to 3,000. I believe we can do that. And 80 backers.
Hell yeah.
All right. My paper's small tonight. So I wrote that down. We'll get that in. That is mine. Judah, thank you, Judah. I appreciate that. All right, next up, we're gonna grab Caleb. Caleb,
That's me.
so how does it feel to know that your wife is a better writer than you, based off, you know?
Yes. For those of you who don't know, I launched a campaign on Tuesday, and it was my record for number of backers on day one ever in 8 years of doing this. And my wife co-wrote this book for me. So now that is clearly evidence that my wife was the secret missing component to my success. Yeah.
I'm going to pay comics, so congratulations.
Thank you.
By the way, your page design gets better and better. You're so good.
Thank you. I'm so proud of my page design. I like to keep it clean. I do it myself, even though Dave Lentz is begging me to do it for me. He's not really. But anyway, I'm very proud of it. Yeah, thank you for that. So yeah, this is called Dragon Grit. It's a Wild West fantasy story, but instead of horses, people ride dragons. It's inspired by True Grit. It's a travelogue story about a grizzled ex-outlaw taking a basically young city slicker on a dangerous voyage across the West while being pursued by outlaws. But there's dragons.
Caleb, is there a chat function in this where you can put it in, or maybe you can just...
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna share it through the YouTube in just a second, so you can grab it through there. And there's a private chat that you can grab it through as well.
There's a private chat in the StreamYard that you can check out that's got it, and then yeah, Travis will put it out on the...
Yeah,
Thank you.
There's mine, and then I'm gonna, because I didn't put mine through, so let me do that. Sorry, I'm super behind today.
You're fine.
Sharing it now, sir.
Oh, thank you so much for that.
Well, gotta stand together.
Right. So yeah, this is yep. Oh, there's a backer.
Yeah, but it got it before I put it on paper, so I got to get you another one.
Okay.
That was me, by the way.
Oh, thank you so much.
6,400. Let's try to get you to 6,500.
It's so funny because really, like, this is the first time I'm seeing your campaign, but 2 days ago, I had this idea of like, oh, it'd be kind of cool if there was like a dragon rider, like a dragon rider character. And I just saw it, I was like, oh crap, well there goes that.
So question for Caleb. How many issues is this going to be?
10. And
10?
I know that's ambitious. I understand that.
That's not that ambitious. I have 12 for my Nightwolf series. It's not that.
So, well, you don't want to know what I planned for Unicorn Vampire Hunter. So, but no, yes, I have 10. Sorry, Rob got me messed up. I've got 10 issues planned. My wife and I have written an outline for 10 issues. We had a plan where we could do 5 issues if nobody liked us, but that has turned out to not be true. And so, yeah, we have 10 issues that we're hopefully gonna, and we're cruising. This book is almost done. Kay Woolheiser, who's the artist, is a machine, and we're gonna. Our aim is to be on Kickstarter 4 times a year with this series.
That's ambitious. I like it.
Very nice.
Thank you.
All right, so I've shared it through. Got everybody shared. We're gonna try to get you another backer to 693. Let's see what we can do. We're sharing it out, getting the word out. I'm excited. And I will say this about your 10 issue thing. There's a gentleman named Tyler James. Perhaps you know him. I don't know. He does this thing called Comics Launch Pro, and he had a book called Red 10 when I met him in 2007. And he sold it to me and was like, hey, this is my indie book. And he pitched it. He's like, it's, Agatha Christie's, and then there were none. I think it's called 10 Little Indians now, or vice versa. I don't remember which one was first. One of them was racist. I think Then There Were None is now. I think 10 Little Indians was when we were kids. Anyways, And he's like, it's going to be a 10-issue story. And I remember looking at him, smiling and shaking his head. I was like, you're never going to get to 10 issues, but you got Scruff, kid. I'm going to buy it. And 2016 or 17 is when he got to the 10 issue.
Yep. Yeah.
10 years later, but he did it, man. Like, he did it. And since then has been a beast.
How long did it take Kevin Joseph to get up to like where he's at on Tart? Like he's up almost to like 20, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think it's over like an 8 years. I think it's 8 years. I think
Yeah.
it's
He's
he's
been-
a couple
he's-
years before us.
He's been very dedicated to that one
Yeah.
series,
He has,
which I respect. And then you look at someone like
Misatonic
Mike
Eye.
Shea. Yeah. Yep. Who's what is he on, like 20 or
He's
something
past
like
20,
that.
I think.
past 20? And he just keeps plugging away at it, which is, big respect to that. So
But he just keeps his head down and like he just puts those out because like they just happen to be there every time I go to Kickstarter, but like you never see it anywhere else.
yeah, no, I mean he's doing it, and I feel confident about 10 issues because it's got a really good response, and also Unicorn Vampire Hunter I just put recently did the Kickstarter for issue 6 and 7, so and then obviously I'm following Rob's lead, who we got Snowpaw number 3, but what are you up to on Nightwolf now?
Nightwolf, I just put 8 out and 9
There
is
you
in
go.
the works. So yeah.
There you go.
Oh, very cool.
Mad respect for creators who keep putting books out, no matter what.
Stubborn.
That's right.
Those
That's right.
stubborn assholes.
So Rob, tell me about Snowpaw. Like, it's catching up. You're on 8. It's on 3. It's going fast.
I
Way
know,
faster
right?
than Nightwolf when it started.
Well, it did too, because like when I started Nightwolf, it was like a 1 book a year, and then it started doing 2 a year, and then I was like, hey, let's throw in another series just to mess with my schedule. So yeah, no, it's basically Snowpaw is a spin-off of Nightwolf, but it takes Nightwolf's mentor in the modern day story, but takes her back 200 years to her origin story. Which is a story about a girl named Cyrilla McKinley. She's a strong-willed farm girl. She's born and raised in the Highlands of Scotland during the 19th century. She dreams about life and adventure, but during those times, women didn't get to do much of that. So upon discovering her werewolf lineage, her eyes are open to the first time to like fantasy and supernatural creatures. And basically this is whereas Nightwolf is more like a darker urban fantasy with more supernatural horror focused. Snowpaw has more of a lighthearted fantasy, with mythological creatures such as like dwarves, fairies, elves, in it as well. We have dragons being introduced into this issue. So yeah, I mean this one. So like I said, I have 8 issues of Nightwolf. This is 3 of. So this is a 4-part arc planned to continue on. So this one is planned to be an ongoing series, but instead of like Nightwolf, where I was like, okay, I have a 12-issue story arc that I'm telling, this is a 4-issue story arc, and then I'm gonna kind of break them into 4s like that. Whereas like Nightwolf, I've already flushed out like 3 seasons, if you will, of the 12-issue spans that I don't know if I'll finish before I die.
That's fair.
But yeah, this is a fun book. We love it. I always have Rob on whenever I do a show. Rob and I support each other in all of our projects. We're very expensive friends because we have to back and support. But I love this book. I think you undersell this. I think Snowpaw, and I said this to you privately. It's like it's got a little bit of Neil Gaiman like hint, like
Damn.
Stardust Neil Gaiman stuff, not like his American God stuff, but it's got a little bit of Stardust feel to it, and I love it. I think it's really good. These 2 books, really for me, really show you. And I said this to you privately, but I'll say it publicly too. Really show your growth and how different of a writer, like because you write them very, very differently. If someone didn't know you, they would think they were 2 different artists.
Yeah, no, and I the way I wrote them is like I push myself to do different things. Like I try like, purposely, and I've said this to David Dobb before, because he and I always joke about like who's better, vampires or werewolves, and of course I'm Team Werewolf, but he was upset that there was no vampires in this book, right? So I was like, well, I didn't like, the main villain in Nightwolf is a vampire. So I wanted to steer clear of that for this, so that was like a hard, fast rule, and this was also writing from a female perspective. So that was another thing that I kind of wanted to try. And like, I pushed myself to like think, okay, well, Nightwolf being more male focused, this being more female driven, but not like the bosom bustules, but like more like an actual story with a strong female heroine that young girls can look up to as they get into comics.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel that I think this book is great. I love it. I love learning more about Snowpaw, and it's fun. And Mob Proc kills it every time. Like the details. It's so funny. Like every page has, like, even if you're like, wow, this doesn't have a lot of detail, then you look in the background, all the things going on. You're like, oh, no, it does. Like, it's just she's so good at like background, foreground.
Oh yeah, like the amount of detail she puts into things is ridiculous. Sometimes I even have to be like, okay, we need to pull focus here. Right here.
We don't need to look at them in the back there, but yeah. And by the way, guys, make sure you're backing these things. We're sharing them to back. I just shared Snowpaw out.
The great news about Snowpaw too is there's another member of the creative team that is just incredibly talented. You know who I'm talking about, Rob?
Oh, Sir Dave Lentz.
Sir Dave Lentz, that's right.
Yeah, you have to give him credit, because if you don't,
he'll find you. He will find you.
And he'll just send you the judgy look emoji.
So next up, this one again. This was a comic that I was told I had to have on my show. I gave some feedback, and he is here. He is ready to be part of the community. So, Julius, I don't know much about you, but tell us about your book. I'm excited. Someone I don't know. You and Steve are both people I don't know. Let's talk about these comics. What is going on with Reset Protocol here?
Reset Protocol is a one-shot sci-fi parable of sorts, and kind of like my love letter to Mobius, John Gerard Mobius.
So not the Midnight Suns Mobius?
What was that?
Not the Midnight Suns character Morbius?
No, not the Midnight Suns. No. But no, this is a one-shot, 50-page one-shot sci-fi story about a cosmic voyager who arrives to a technologically advanced nation that is eligible for a seat in the Galactic Assembly, but in return, he asks for just one thing from them, which is 1 day of full transparency. And as he's being paraded around, he starts getting visions of these horrific, visions of oppression and justice and what have you, contradicting what he's witnessing firsthand in this grand landscape. The artist's name is Andre Araujo, and he is currently, I think, working with Rick Remender at the moment for A Thirst for Vengeance, I believe the name of the book is called. So this book was produced, believe it or not, 10 years ago. I've been sitting on this book for 10 years because there was full disclosure. I'll admit to it. I'll man up to it. While as I was developing the story and writing it, and I was handing over the script to Andre to draw, there was I left out there was a big plot hole that I didn't fill up. And for years, I tried to get him back to, fill at least maybe 5 or 6 pages that would fill up the plot hole. And he was just always, obviously so busy with his schedule, and he moved on from the style. And he didn't want to go back to this style here that he drew for this book. So for those 10 years, I was trying to figure out how can I, not ruin this thing I have, but work around what I failed to do as a writer, which is fill up the plot holes, right? and finally came up with something that's gonna definitely help out the project. And right now, the artist is currently drawing that plot hole, but I salvaged it, I guess you could say, without having to touch Andre's artwork.
Kudos.
So is it?
Nice.
Did you get
I
a
mean-
different artist to come in?
Yeah, but it's the story, the scene I wrote is it's a dream sequence. I'll just say
Okay.
that it's a dream sequence, so it worked. It worked out for me.
Cool.
So can I give you a little bit of advice? This is your first campaign.
Well, on Kickstarter, yeah.
Let's see the creative team a little bit higher, like somewhere. 'Cause I don't see
Oh,
you
right. Yeah,
really-
you're right. You're right. Shame on me. Shame on me.
Yeah,
on that.
and especially when you have someone who's worked with Rick Remender, labeling that does help your cred.
Right.
So
No, you're right. That's my bad right there, big time.
it's little things, and don't like. I know like Wob will come to me if he sees something that I just happen to miss. When we put
Right.
these together, we're so focused on one thing that we may miss like a little thing that
Oh yeah, you get
is
tunnel
so
vision.
important.
Yeah, you need to get fresh eyes to look at your campaign before you go live too. It's definitely helpful.
It's always easy to forget stuff too. I mean, every time I forget something.
Yeah, we have a bunch of stuff going on, right? We have our personal lives, or some of us have day jobs, and
Yep.
we're trying to juggle all these little things at once. And yeah, but that's a big, huge.
This is beautiful though. The art looks great.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Like
I can definitely see the Mobius inspiration.
yeah, it was huge.
Sure.
It was. I wrote
Oh,
it
yeah.
during the time when I was really. I had just discovered Mobius's work during this time, and I went on eBay and I found a seller who was selling all of Mobius's epic reprints that Marvel produced, that published back in the late '80s, I believe. And I snatched them up and just soaked them in, just studied his artwork, because I was just so mesmerized by his art style. And so I also was reading and studying a lot of Eastern philosophy. So there's a lot of parables that I was reading. So it was like a hodgepodge of all these things that kind of culminated into this Reset Protocol story that I wrote. And I was like, I have to have someone that draws like Mobius to draw this story. I couldn't imagine anyone else drawing the story but someone like Mobius. And thankfully, I guess the universe aligned for me, and I got a chance to work with Andre before he made it into the big superstar status that he is today. So
Yeah, and I do want to point out that you do mention all this stuff. It is here. It's just it's really
just
good.
yeah,
to
it should have been
name
higher
all
up.
these.
Yeah,
Okay. Or no,
For
we'll
sure.
actually put like written by, art by, like
Right.
speaking out. Yeah.
You know who's an artist?
And you get it back her.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
You know who reminds me of Mobius? I don't know if others will agree, but they are a fantastic young artist who's on the rise. But Laura Helsby,
Oh yeah, good stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really? I never heard of her.
they remind me of Mobius. Mobius's young years. Laura Helsby, they are fantastic.
It definitely is
Yeah,
giving me a very strong in-call vibe.
In call, yeah. I was kind of going for the the airtight garage kind of.
I can't wait for Reset Protocol. It looks so beautiful. Frequency Girl. So. All right. Well, we're going to jump over. Link is in the comments. If you haven't backed it yet, go ahead and do it. And then we're going to get my buddy Steve, who's a friend of. This is going to be crazy for people who've known me for a long time. Steve is a friend of Jerome, but somehow we are not friends on Facebook. I'm not sure how this works. Maybe Jerome has Canadian friends and I'm his American friend, so he doesn't mix them. I don't know what's
Steve's,
going on.
Twitter handle.
What's up?
At Comics Asylum.
What?
At Comics Asylum. I'll put it in the private chat.
All right.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I ran into
Tell us
Jerome.
about this book, man.
Sure, and I ran into Jerome actually at a con in Montreal. So that's how we met. And I picked up his book and really liked it. So then we just kept chatting, and the rest is history.
Which book? Which book did you pick up?
Oh, I'm gonna misremember the name now. It's Dead, not it's
Dead Kingdom.
Dead Kingdom. That's it.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
picked,
So him
I
and
picked up the
Etienne's
first
book.
5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's a good book.
yeah, it is a good book. So Atrium is a story about 2 paramedics who are tasked with delivering a donor heart to a mysterious patient, and they are accompanied by a security detail. But then their route is intercepted by a team of assassins who are hell bent on stopping them from delivering the heart. So they get rerouted off of the streets and into the subway system, and then when their train explodes, they have to find a way to get back onto the surface and deliver the heart in time.
Wow, that sounds really really intense. That sounds awesome.
Thank you. It's I'm like Julius. I guess this is my second Kickstarter. The
Okay.
first one we launched in, I guess, September or October of 2023.
Okay.
So it's been a huge learning curve in terms of what to do and how to lay it out, and but we've been really lucky that our artist is fantastic, Lucas Falapi. He's out of Brazil, and our colorists are Mike Torres and Nikos Koutsis, who actually color for Savage Dragon.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of 2 and 3 here. Can you get number 1s on the campaign as well?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
So number 1 is an add-on, and hopefully, if we can get some more backers, we'll throw number 1 in as a stretch goal.
Nice. Awesome. Awesome. All right. So there's a bunch of different pledges here. So you can only get it as an add-on, the number 1. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's in digital and physical, or just
Digital and
or-
physical. Yeah,
Okay.
for both.
Awesome. So I'm going to give you advice too, just because I don't know you, and I guess
Please
advice-
bring it on.
Always mention number 1, and that's available, because some people will turn away immediately because they don't know, because they've never read the series. They're like, well, if I can't get, because there's no labeling that I can get issue 1 here.
Right.
So just label that you can get it in the add-ons. We offer issue 1 in the add-ons. Maybe even change it from 1 to 3 up the top. You'll see if we go to Snowpaw a minute ago, he'll go 1 through 3 because you can get them all. Yes, the focus is
Right.
obviously 3, but you want to show that you can get them all because the goal is to get new readers, not retain old ones, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
Agreed.
Great advice.
Good advice. Good advice.
But yeah, man, the book looks that's a great concept. I'm excited about it. What brought you into to doing stuff like this? The comics? Were you always wanted to be a comic writer? What's
I'm a retired teacher.
Okay.
I was a school teacher up in Toronto, but I've loved comics forever. And I worked in just kind of stumbled my way into a studio with Ken Lashley back in the late 90s.
Okay.
Called Draxel Jump. So did some work, toy design, and worked on some books with that studio. And then the studio kind of fell apart, and I decided I still wanted to do it. So just kept doing it. And I also run an entertainment comic book hub called Comics Asylum. So we would do like reviews of The Walking Dead, and we get the news blasts from DC and Marvel and Image. And it's always something that I wanted to do. So I'm the co-creator and co-writer of this one, and just looking to do more. Just learning as I go along, stub my toe here or there. But I'm having a great time, and the beauty of it is after having number 1 be successful, taking the physical copies to conventions or one-day shows and getting the feedback from the fans. That's kind of like instant kind of feedback that I love.
Yeah, it's great. I'm sure Rob has similar stories. And Kel, do you do a lot of cons? I haven't seen a lot of pictures of you doing cons. You do a lot of cons?
Talking to me?
Yeah, do you do a lot of cons?
I try. I tried
You
to.
talking to me?
Back when I lived in Florida, when I was slumming it.
Hey, that's where I live now.
I did a lot of cons back then, but then the COVID happened, and
That's
I have done fewer.
But hold on, before we
Talking
switch
to
on.
me.
we're gonna try to get you to 46 backers and 4,200. That's our goal here.
I'm not sure what's up with that image. We're actually at 5,600 right now.
What?
Gotta
Oh, well,
refresh.
that's Canadian. That's Canadian.
Oh, I see.
This
There we
is
go.
translating to American.
Right.
Oh.
He's in 5,600 Monopoly money. That's
Right.
Yeah, let me explain.
The time and the money are completely different once you cross
Right.
the 49.
In America, our money is worth more. So,
I know. That's why I like making it.
I learned something new today. I thought because everything is free, you had to work forever. So I didn't know you could retire in Canada. So that's something
Yes,
I knew.
it's the social safety net that we seem
Right.
to have embraced up here. Yes.
Yeah, I heard that, everything is months and months of lines. Like education takes 20 years because, of the socialism that you have there, and it's horrible. And
Yeah, it's terrible.
that's just what I hear. That's
socialism. It's horrible. Yeah,
it's horrible.
they're leaving in droves.
Unlivable is what I hear.
Yeah, no.
So I'm trying
However,
to integrate to
if you
Canada. Can you help me
Pardon?
out?
Pardon? Alice,
I'm
I'm sorry.
trying to integrate to Canada. Can you help me out?
I'll do what I can. I'll put in a word.
Definitely want to get the free medical care because mine's going to bankrupt me.
Yeah, it's not necessarily free up here, but it's definitely a different situation than what you guys have to deal with.
Yeah,
Far
ours
cheaper
keeps
than
going
what I
up,
can-
and the same benefits are less.
Yeah, which is for what we do, as artists and as writers, it kind of takes a physical toll on you. You don't really realize it, but you can see it throughout the industry that a lot of us are not doing too well physically.
I'm physically disabled, so I can't work a day job. Otherwise, I would because I like money.
Yeah,
And the way to make a small fortune in comics is to start with a large one.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's well
I
said.
gotta go. Thank you, Travis. Take care. Gotta go.
Bye, Chuck.
Bye, Chuck.
Bye.
Chuck, it was nice meeting you.
Chuck, nice meeting you.
Great luck with all your books. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Have a good
Thanks,
night.
Chuck. Thanks for hanging out.
All right, take care.
I do need more of Chuck. He is a big
Clearly,
butt.
clearly.
He praised me a whole bunch and then leaves randomly, like in the night.
I'm surprised your head hasn't filled the whole screen yet.
It's beautiful. I'm like, I need more of that. He doesn't, he's just like, I've told everyone I love them. I'm gone. Allison, before I go on, is there anything you need to promote right now? Do you got anything going on, or just wanted to hang out?
Well, I want to hang out, but I can show something I'm working on that
Sure.
I'm trying to finish the book on. Right now, I'm actually coloring some fan art because I make more money selling fan art than I do working on my own book. But give me a second.
But yeah, we've got everybody's papers down. I've written them down there. I'm on 2 sheets of paper today because I don't know what the hell I'm doing tonight. But the goal is, and by the way, I do these every Thursday night. So if anybody are here next Thursday, if you're welcome back. If you have already funded, we just want people who aren't funded first, and then you're in the background. But I normally have slots for everybody. So if you're not funded, I want you on. We're going to get you on until we can get you funded, get you some fans, get you some stuff, and do some things while we wait for.
Just about ready. I'm just opening up a few pages to show. Okay. This is not all of this is inked and finished, but it gives you kind of an idea.
Are you sharing screen, or do I got to make you big?
I'm going to share the screen.
Okay.
Nope, there it is. Okay, so this is what I'm working on right now. I call it Stray
That's beautiful.
Cat. Thank you.
Oh, that's lovely.
There's a lot of detail.
And I have this is a homage cover that it actually is going to have a couple of covers. I have a cover coming from David Finch.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
I've heard of him. Is he good?
Yeah, I think he's a little full of himself, but hey. But no, he's
Aren't we all?
Wow, I love all that detail.
Yeah, it's incredibly detailed.
Yeah. Well done.
Thank you. So this is one of the covers. This is my tribute cover to one of my favorite samurai movies called Sword of Doom. It has a similar kind of look to it, and it's homaged in a lot of different like other media. Actually, the Ahsoka show, no, not the Mandalorian episode that featured Ahsoka in it, homaged the scene at the beginning.
I see.
And this is like, these are basically my pencils. And these are
Beautiful.
my rough pencils. So I haven't textured or toned anything, or haven't really done any finish line work. Like I haven't textured the buildings or anything here. They're just really rough. Basically just using a line tool. But yeah, so that's what I got so far. And that's the piece of fan art I'm working on.
Nice.
Thank you. But the book is what I'm. Thanks. The book is basically a samurai girl is trying to get out of the city that she's in. It's a fantasy setting, inspired heavily by kind of the transitional period between the Sengoku and Tokugawa shogunate era would be some of the inspiration. I actually have a shogun character in it, but it is more of a warring provinces kind of feel to it. And then I added in a couple of modern like little nuances. Like she's basically wearing the samurai equivalent of a school uniform. So that was something I did with the design. So it has a lot of like anime and manga feel to it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. So that's what I'm working on right now. And sooner or later I'll get the cover from Dave and I'll be happy. So, he drew it on my channel on my birthday. So if you go to Alice McGlone on YouTube, it's one of the last streams I did because my multiple sclerosis has been killing me lately. I haven't been able to live stream a lot. But he actually drew the cover as a birthday present for me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool. That's very cool.
So,
David Finch has drawn nothing for me, and I've had like 40th birthdays, and it's very disappointing. Please talk to him about that next time you see him.
I'll definitely talk to him. He's going to be like, who? He's like, oh, Travis. Never heard of him.
Never heard of him.
So,
But yeah, these look awesome. I can't wait to see it. How many pages is this first issue?
It's going to be like 36 for the first issue.
Okay. Awesome.
And the others will probably be clocking in around 24.
Nice.
But first issue I want to be longer, and then the rest will kind of go from there. I have the entire story like laid out in a notebook, which is not an easy access. Oh, maybe it is.
I believe you.
Where is it? Yeah, I have like tons of notes in here, so
Right.
that spell out the whole story and where it's going, and a lot of my influences from like Quentin Tarantino and stuff like that.
Nice. Awesome. So I have to see if anybody's going to be mad at me. So I have to go through the list and see if I've hit all the goals and all the objectives. So we're going to have to go through everybody's campaign and see if I've got the stuff. So Caleb, when we last spoke, you were at 6,452 for 292 backers. I got to see if I've let your wife down. I don't know her very well. I don't want to let her down. I know I've let you down a few times, but I'm hoping to start strong. So you are now at 6,515 with 294 backers. I only promised you 293 backers, so we're doing
There
okay.
you go. All right.
Please let your wife know that.
I'll let her know not to cancel you.
Yes, please don't cancel me.
Travis
Right.
has enough people trying that.
Right. I mean, it's thus far, 0.24. I've been fine, but you never know. So I got my little list here. Gonna mark Caleb off.
Sweet.
My first X of the night. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't back it. If this is your first time seeing it, tell us about it real quick so I can share it out one more time, my good friend.
Sure. Dragon Grit is a fantasy western about a world where people ride dragons instead of horses. It's about a grizzled ex-outlaw who takes on a risky escort job across the West while being pursued by a former rival. So it's got dragons. It's got Western stuff. If you like Tombstone or 310 to Yuma and you like dragons, then you'll probably like this.
Nice.
I have to say that Tombstone is my favorite Western.
Thank you. I love Tombstone all the time, to the point that I'm honestly shocked that my wife was willing to write a Western with me. I quote Tombstone constantly.
My dad might do the same. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
funny.
My wife loves that movie, but my favorite is Once Upon a Time in the West.
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good
So
one too.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Why, Johnny Ringo? You look like somebody just walked over your grave.
I love
Val Kilmer was amazing in that movie.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of his best roles. That
Oh,
and
yeah.
Heat.
Hands down. Yeah.
Don't
he
forget
was so
Top
good.
Secret. I liked him in Top Secret.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was fun in that. It was definitely fun. I mean, I also like him in The Doors, but
Yeah.
Well, you
it
got
wasn't
you
a
got,
bad Batman.
You got
No.
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Kiss Kiss
But he
Bang
wasn't
Bang is the
decent
movie
Kiss Kiss
where
Bang Bang's
Robert
good
Downey
too.
Jr.
Yeah.
and Val Kilmer collided in fame level.
All right, so Rob, I had you at when we started this 7,248 with 295 backers. I promised you another backer 96. In fact, I think you were one less and you got one while we're here, which is cheating, by the way. That's not the way this is supposed to work.
Well, hot damn.
But we got you at 278 now.
All right.
What is going on?
Nice.
Nice.
It's so yeah, I think it's that time that where people like to do their juggling their pledges.
What happened? Did you go down money wise?
No. Well, since before the show, yes. But not since the show.
By the way, that crossover it started today, so I should have it tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
So, go ahead and tell us about Snowpaw real quick, because just because you guys can back it, like we won't be upset. Like nobody's going to be upset with you. Rob will be fine.
Yeah, you won't hurt my soul. No, yeah. So, Snowpaw, it's a story about a young woman who is born and raised in the Scottish Highlands during the 19th century on a farm, and her father had made a deal with a rich man to betroth her to his son to save the farm, and upon returning from her engagement party, the family farm has been attacked by werewolves. During this attack, her werewolf lineage has come to a head, and she transforms herself, discovering that she is also a werewolf, and that from there, a lot of werewolf action happens, and then also we get introduced to a whole new world of fantasy. And according to Travis, I'm Neil Gaiman.
No, that is not what I said.
That sounded like what you said. I mean,
No, that's not what I
It's-
said.
I think it sounds like Travis said Neil Gaiman sucks and that Rob is better
No,
than Neil
no,
Gaiman.
didn't say that either. And based off of who Allison knows, she probably knows Neil Gaiman. So you guys are gonna get me killed. She knows David Finch.
I actually do.
No, but in all seriousness, I do appreciate that. That was definitely an ego booster for me. I don't do a lot of, I don't go out and talk so much about myself as much as I do. I like to talk about the books and everything, and I still see myself as that kid trying to put out his stories, and I kind of just keep my head down and do that. The only time I come out of the woodwork is when I have a Kickstarter live.
So
Yeah.
I have a question for Rob. I mean, in terms of Snowpaw is a spinoff of Nightwolf.
Yes. Mhm.
Do you see Snowpaw going for as many issues as Nightwolf, or is it more of a limited series?
So originally, just to kind of safeguard myself, it was starting out as a four issue story arc with the ability to continue. Because Nightwolf takes place in modern times, and with hers takes place in the late 1800s. I have over 200 years to play with, so I could time jump in between back and forth if I wanted to, or I could keep it linear. I have a lot of room to play with. And I have a lot of ideas and what I want to do with her. A lot of the, non-typical, she's obviously not a damsel in distress. She's a very strong, headstrong woman. So there's probably going to be a lot of like her saving princes instead of the other way around.
I'm all for it. I support this heavily.
But Rob, you are marked off. Here, I put the X already. X is right there. Rob's gone. Done with you, Rob. Do you need to go? Because I know his wife.
It is 11:30.
His wife will peek in and be just like.
Well, she's already done the peek in. Luckily.
Oh, okay.
Are you a Florida resident, Rob?
No, I'm actually north of Pittsburgh, south of Erie, and there it is. I just got the text. If you didn't hear that,
Well, you're actually
Go to
like
bed.
real close. Like, have you met Dave Lentz in person?
I have not actually. Matter of fact, one time he was in Pittsburgh for a con. I was at a different con in Massachusetts.
Okay.
So he and I are in the same state, but Pennsylvania is like 7 hours across. And we live on both on either side.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, someday I would like to meet Dave. But
Yeah.
yes.
I believe in the sanctity of marriage, so you have to go.
Yep. That was the second text. I mean, third one, I'm dead.
Good night, Rob.
Good night, man.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Good night. It's nice
Good
being
night.
here.
You too.
All right. Next up, we have reset protocols. We were at 69 when we started. You got one backer right at the beginning. So I said we'd get you to 71. Let's see where you're at. Let's see. You're there, good sir. Let's refresh and see if
Nice.
there's any more. Any more money coming in? No more money coming in. But we're refreshed.
Hey,
Just
grateful
check.
for it.
Gotta make
Grateful
sure.
to support.
I have a question
but
for
let's-
you, Julius.
Yeah. What's up?
So this is a one-shot comic, right?
Mhm.
What's next?
Ooh.
Next is the Ghetto Dragon.
You said
Okay,
the
so you
Ghetto
have
Dragon?
another thing lined up. You have
I have
ready
another
to
thing.
go.
I'm hoping to fulfill an Indiegogo crowdfunding that I did last year with Anthony Gambino called Vigilant Fury, and that's about a woman who gets kidnapped and sold to human traffickers, and she kills her way out of her captivity, inside a container ship.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds
And
kinda
once
cool.
I fulfill that, then I'm going to get this, and then I'm going to launch Ghetto Dragon, maybe hopefully by May. So do pre-launch for a while, and then and then launch Ghetto Dragon Book 2.
Sweet. Cool.
If you want it now, though, just give him $5K. That's right here.
Yeah, you get the first free. All backers get first issue for free.
Sounds
So
like
if
a
you
plan.
want, Caleb, it's called money juggling. I learned it from
Right.
Marcel Dupree. Perhaps you know him. What you do is you start another campaign, or use the money from this one to pay
Right.
for Julius's, and
No,
trickle down.
Ghetto
is
Dragon
how-
Book 1 is done. It's complete.
Cool.
It's Book 2 that I need to start producing.
Okay. Cool.
Is it a sequel to Dragon Grit? Is like the modern day? This is gangsters on dragons, like shooting them up.
It does
Yeah.
involve gangsters and stuff. So
That's awesome. Is that going to
but
be
this
on
was more
Kickstarter?
grounded. This was more gritty and grounded. This is more of the David Lapham, Ed Brubaker type of like style street
Ooh.
crime
Talk
martial
some
arts comic.
Cool.
Talk some straight bullets up in here. I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I like that. All right.
Sweet.
By the way, let me see. I gotta see. Someone had a question. I'm just gonna put it down at the bottom. just so I remember it. Where is it? We're at the type where I share a lot, so every time I share, there's like 3 links in the thing. So someone, if you guys are around, someone asked a question about like our goals. You can rewrite that question. I want to address it after we're done here. So if you're still watching, go ahead and do that. And my new friend, Steve. So Steve, we have, oh, hold on. Julius, you're marked off the list. You're dead to me. You have no value. So Steve, you and I have a beef with you.
Okay.
I know we just met.
Okay.
And I know in Canada you guys don't fight. You just say sorry.
Oh no, we do, but you got to play
You
hockey
do?
first. Yeah, you got to play hockey.
Ah, there we go. There we go.
I know
Everybody
you
went
piss
to the
off your-
boxing matches and the hockey game broke out.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I thought.
I mean, I heard if you piss off your like delivery drivers, like things go crazy. Like, do not mess with the shipping people. Like they do not play. I did hear that.
Just gonna say I have to show my colors, as it were.
Oh no, the Bruins. All right, I'm actually in Toronto, but I'm a Habs fan, so at least sports-wise, we're almost mortal enemies.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Damn Habs. I mean, it's not like, as I
Got it.
said, it's like guy sells his soul to the devil, and he's like, well, what's the condition I get to take your soul? And he goes, Toronto wins the cup. Well played, sir. Well played.
Which I don't think will ever happen.
But so you
So
went to a
we're
Canadian
beefing.
con.
We're beefing, yes.
Yeah, you went to a Canadian con and you saw Jerome's stuff, and he's standing next to Etienne, which, by the way, took me about 4 years to learn how to say that name.
It's actually
but-
Steve in French.
It's Steve. Is it really?
Yeah, absolutely, it is.
That is wild. Wait, is your name?
Yeah, I'm
Is your
Steve.
name Etienne?
No, just Steve.
Okay, all right,
I'm an Anglophone, so yeah.
I gotta ask. Gambit says hello. So it took me a long time to pronounce his name, but I've learned it over the years. And you had next to all of the Orange Cone books, which is my publishing company, all these beautiful books that you could have bought. And you chose the only one on the table that wasn't written by me. And why was that? Why did you want to start this war last year?
So I've stumbled into this war unintentionally, but I was talking to Etienne, and Etienne was pitching the book. So I spoke to him, and I picked up the 5. And next time I'll know better. But
Right.
no, there was a great collection of books.
So Jerome wasn't a good salesman, is what you're saying.
He did a pretty good job.
No. What he's telling you, Travis, is never trust a Habs fan.
Especially in Montreal.
That's right.
Okay, I'm just saying, like, it went down, and it hurt my feelings. But I mean, it's a good book. I've written even some stuff for that book, so I'm not against it. I love that book. It's like a sister book to Orange Cone, but at the same time, I have questions. But
so much to
let's
choose
bring
from.
up your book. I know you're confused. This is American money, so it's going to be a little lower on our side.
It's all good.
Which is confusing that it's higher on your side, and we make it's a whole thing. When you came to us, you were at 4,186 with 45 backers. I promised you at least one. Let's see where you're at. All right, you got one. Let's make sure that we always refresh to make sure there's no more.
That's awesome.
Okay, we got one.
Thank you.
Yeah. So we got you to where you need to go, what we promised you.
Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
And go ahead and pitch it one more time. Oh, no, you got another one. Look at that. It went up.
Hooray.
Right. Awesome. Perfect. Yeah. Atrium, it's going to be a 5-issue miniseries. So we're doing 2 and 3 for this, but it's an action suspense thriller. about two paramedics, Darnell and Naomi, who are tasked with delivering a donor heart to a mysterious patient. They're accompanied by a security detail and are also pursued by a team of deadly assassins. En route, they are driven into the subway system, and while down there, their train explodes, and they have to race against time to deliver the heart in time. So we're having a great time, just learning everything about Kickstarter, meeting all of our new fans. The series, there's a big twist coming at the end of 2, and an even larger one at the end of 3. And it's a bit of a tonal shift. So we can't wait to get these 2 issues out and then really get the ball rolling for 4 and 5.
By the way, Jerome tells me about this all the time. It's so ridiculous that you live in Canada and it costs more to ship to Canada.
Yes, that was the biggest kind of head scratcher that we couldn't figure out.
Yeah, there's been a whole bunch of times because Jerome, he's part of my company. He's a good friend of mine, and
Right.
we're always like, all right, cool, we'll just ship some to you, and then you can ship them out to you. He's like, it's going to cost me more. Like, that doesn't make any sense. He's like,
No.
yeah, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, it's strange. It's really interesting, and we are with a company called Chit Chats, which allows us to kind of bypass some of how expensive it is to ship all over the place. But the one thing that caught us off guard was, my goodness, it's more expensive to ship in Canada.
It's wild.
It is absolutely wild.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. No, this is not kind of that. This is downright crazy. So,
That's definitely something you guys gotta talk about during the election. But this book looks beautiful. The presentation is great. I'm gonna look back at your first campaign to look at the first covers and check out that too. To look at all those. So I'm excited.
Yeah, thanks for the suggestion, because it's one of those things where, like, you never really know. You're almost like wandering into the wilderness when you're doing this for the first time. And we had discussions because we would look at other campaigns and you would see like the 1 to 3. And we're like, so what does that mean? Right. And so in some ways it was confusing, but now that you've explained it, where it lets new backers know this is part of a series and you can still get number 1, it makes total sense. Like there's so many, I guess, almost like you're in forks in the road on almost every aspect of a Kickstarter, and you can choose the wrong one almost all the time.
Yeah, I mean, our goal for Kickstarter should always be to get new readers, and just like in the comic store, how often do you pick up an issue 2 of something if you haven't picked up issue 1? You look for issue 1 because you're known, and most of the time you'll just skip it. And I would hate for that, especially you have a great pitch, you have a good concept there. I'm super excited about it to check it out. So I'd hate for that to happen to you. So yeah, if you get that fixed, you got tons of time left, right? I think you do, right? You got 20 days.
Yeah, we got 20 days. Yeah.
So you can do some graphics real quick and put it together and just say, hey, it can be bought on the island. I would actually what I would change, if you want a little bit of further advice, I would go ahead and add a 1 through 3 digital right on the front.
Right.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
A 1 through 3 digital campaign so they can get all 3. If you don't want to do the print, that's fine, but at least the digital. But I would do a 1 through 3 thing and a 1 through 3 physical. Because again, a lot of times on the add-ons, even that, it pops up so fast, you skip it. A lot of people just hit the skip button, so they may not even have known.
Yeah, definitely. Would you recommend changing the title to Atrium 1 to 3?
Yep. Yeah.
And all right.
And you can do that and add and I would add those 2, and I would add just 2 pledges. I would add the issue 1, the issue 1 through 3 pledge, have a tier for that, and then I would add it digital and physical, and then I would just have a little block that says issue 1 is available in add-ons as well, and just show a cover.
Yeah.
Because you want people to know that it's in fact, right at the beginning, let me show up your stuff. You really want to show it here that, we're now back to Kickstarter. Like, this should really be, we're back to Kickstarter to show you to celebrate issue 2 and 3. We've celestially filled number 1, because that's showing, we've done it. We sent it out. Like, that's basically just proving that you've done this before, which is good to know.
All right, cool. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. That's why I'm here. All right.
So you're
So
definitely
you
going
were
to be the
off my
person to
list.
consult with.
Pardon?
I said Travis is definitely the person I'm going to consult with before I do a Kickstarter.
Oh, thanks.
I am terrified of doing one. So
If you need help, Travis is a great resource. Feel free to hit me up, and also Rob, who was on here before.
Yeah.
We're all happy to
all
we're
three
all
of us will
happy
help.
to give advice.
I'm very appreciative of that because I live on disability and I have to make sure that it doesn't blow out my disability because it counts as income.
Right.
That's yeah. Well, so interesting point on that. I was just talking to someone recently who was on unemployment, and maybe disability counts differently than unemployment, but my friend's unemployment officer told him that Kickstarter income didn't count as a job. But that was in California, and in California they have crazy rules, so who knows?
That's
Well,
true.
and
Californians are weird.
yeah, I think for
Hey,
disability,
hey,
you can only
hey,
make so
hey.
much per month, and this counts as income that came in that month. So
Yeah.
it would count. It's not like they don't count Kickstarter as a steady income per se. It's just like
Yeah.
you could do daily labor, and it won't cancel you from unemployment. You just have
Right.
to report that you made it.
I
But,
think
yeah.
I think also you gotta, I think it might matter for Kickstarter. And I mean, I'm not a lawyer or someone who knows laws, but I think it matters how much is coming in, how much is going out.
Right.
For example, if I bring in $10,000 on a Kickstarter, I'm not getting $10,000 in my bank account, and Travis knows that very well.
One of the
'cause-
things I have to.
I mean, it goes in your bank account. It just doesn't stay there.
It doesn't say there.
That's one of the things I have to take into account, though, because it has to be reported to Social
Mhm.
Security. And
Yeah.
if they suddenly see an income of say $5,000 comes in,
Mhm.
I can only make about $1,500 a month.
Yeah.
So that would count as an overture of money coming in and would knock me off of disability.
Yeah.
What I would do is just put your pledge levels. Like you're only gonna make 100 of these,
Yeah.
and just put it at that level.
That's
So
what
you
I
don't
was
have to-
thinking of doing.
So then you'll never blow up past what you could get. So you're good.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of doing because I thought that seems like a good idea. A few
And then
other
it's
people
limited.
have talked about
Makes it
that.
cool.
Hmm?
And then it's kind of limited, which is also has a cool vibe to it.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
All right. So last but not least, and then we'll get to this question, then we'll be off for the night, is I've got my own campaign. I promised myself a backer. I got a backer.
Hooray!
Yay, hooray. This is Coins to Judas. This is through Band of Bards, my publisher. We have come out with a trade. We've done two issues, 1 and 2 here of Coins to Judas in the direct market. Gambler and Gambler 2 are in previews right now. So if you want to get those, you can order through previews or you can either order here for the campaign. But what we've done special for the campaign is a special Kickstarter trade paperback. So we have soft and hardcover. We also got some cool stuff. Look, there's pages. Cool things happen. Ooh, neat. Demons and humans fighting. See, there's a coin that you can get, which is really cool. It's a hardcover special. All sorts of really cool stuff. So consider backing it. It's a cool book. I like it.
No, I got the first 2 issues. I enjoyed it.
Oh,
I bought them from you at that con.
nice. Well, because it's a convention, I will actually have the convention exclusive of the Gambler #1, which is pretty cool there, even though it won't be quite released yet. And you can meet my wife. My wife is going to be at that con.
Oh, fantastic!
I've convinced
I'm
my
looking
wife
forward
to. I've convinced my wife to come because last year I couldn't celebrate my birthday with me because I was at that con, and I was like, I'd like to not do that again. And she was like, okay. She gave me very little resistance. I was confused because she loves our kids and she likes to spend time with them. I don't understand it. My parents didn't want to spend time with me, so it doesn't make any sense to me. But
Oh,
weird.
that's
But I have marked myself off the list. Let's see. I'll do it right here. We have successfully done it again, ladies and gentlemen. Another night of getting people backed, getting people's dreams coming closer to funding and closer to getting everything they need. I'm glad we had this great group. I'm glad we had Julius and Steve here to new people. I'm super grateful of Chuck. I want Chuck to tell me how great I am as often as possible. We need more of him. Caleb, Robert, Allison. But before we leave, before we exit this, let's answer this question for people who are doing so. I'd love to hear everyone's answer who's done a Kickstarter. We've actually just kind of talked to Alley Cat about her struggles with this question. So let's hear about it from everybody else. How do you set the dollar amount for your campaign? Is it the lowest amount necessary? Let's start with Caleb. Caleb, what do you do?
Ha. That's a great question. I don't set it at the lowest amount necessary, but I will say that I used to. Well, that's not true. I used to set the goals way lower than I needed, and I still set the goals way lower than I needed. Sometimes I set them at what I actually need, but for the most part, I set them lower than I need, and it has a lot to do with optics. I want to be seen as someone who's succeeding, and unfortunately, that's a big factor. Right. So, for example, on Dragon Grit, we've now exceeded what I needed to really break even on the project, but my $3,500 goal was absolutely not what I needed to break even on the project. Right. And so I would say set goals as low as you feel as though you could still feel okay about making the book, you know? Like if you can absorb several $1,000s worth of expenses on a project, then set the goal lower enough so that you can succeed and so that people can get it, and then that's how you build an audience. My first probably 5 or 6 projects I lost money on. That's just the truth. It's a hard business, but fortunately at this point now I'm not losing money on every project, but that's where I'm at. I do not set the goal at what I need. I set it lower than that. That's just the truth.
Steve?
That's a great question, and it's one that we've struggled with because you see a lot of other campaigns, and there's like funded in 24 hours or whatever, and then you look at what their ask is, and it's a really low total, but there's no way that total can fund the book. But I don't know if that then pushes you to the top of the Kickstarter algorithm. I have no idea.
It does do something like that. I know that.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. But what we decided to do was just ask for kind of what we need, but not everything. Because obviously it's not the cheapest thing to produce, but for a first-time Kickstarter, it's a big ask for someone to take a chance on you, and they don't know if you're even going to produce something that they'll get. So I would say I agree with Caleb. Just like set it lowish on the low end, but where you can afford to then fill in what's left. We've been fortunate that we've overfunded our first one, and we're close to reaching that goal now with the second one. I would just say figure out what you can lose and then set your price that way.
All right, Julius, you got to answer this question. You've done it on Indiegogo and Kickstarter, so you probably have some opinions here.
Yeah, I have really nothing much to add to that. It's pretty spot on what both Steve and Caleb have said. Yeah, you just gotta kind of look at the landscape of what you're offering and what you could take a loss at, because especially when you are somewhat new, you don't have that reader trust, right? That most people who have been doing it for a long time have been delivering have. And so, like for instance, Reset Protocol, was one thing where I was like, you know what, I'm gonna lower it. Originally I wanted to ask for 3,000, but then I was like, no, I'm new here to Kickstarter, and you know, I'm not really, I really don't know the landscape of Kickstarter, so I lowered it to that. And yeah, I'm essentially gonna take a loss at it, but I need, you know, I need readers. I need new readers. I need to like find people who are willing to take the risk and the chance on me. And so that way, when I do deliver the book, they'll make the decision whether or not I'm worth backing for the next project and the next project after that.
Yeah, that's so. I put the bare minimum of what I think we need, you know, to pay everybody and get stuff. It's pretty close to what I post most of the time. But that's, you know, shoestring. That's like, if anything, if people cancel their pledge, like it's not going to work out, like, you know, if it doesn't go through or stuff. But our goal is always readers. So we want to make sure we hit that goal as quickly as possible. We want to make sure that we can get everybody satisfied and be able to do it. And it gets tough. And sometimes it's really stressful because I'd rather it succeed sooner and celebrate. There is absolutely algorithms that happen if you fund it quicker. But those algorithms are really only for a couple of days. So it doesn't help you the whole campaign. It's just a couple of days that put you higher. So I think longevity is better. And I think it's better if because it happens anytime you fund, that the same algorithms happen anytime you fund. You can do that same thing with people commenting. If you can get people to comment and click, there's other ways to do it. So that's what I do. So I try to do it best. You said that you see so many that come so close. Statistically, I don't see that a lot. I mean, most people fund. You have a 64% chance of funding right now on Kickstarter, so the odds are in your favor. You know, it's better than any other category on Kickstarter. It's comics. So that's what I'll say on that. But with that note, thanks for hanging out, guys. Thanks for
having me.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Pleasure
Yeah.
Like
meeting
I said,
everyone.
Yeah.
if you
Likewise.
guys aren't funded, you can come back next week. We'll do another one next Thursday. We'll keep doing them every Thursday, as long as I have a campaign live. And then when I don't have a campaign live, I don't do them because I'm tired and I don't want to be a YouTuber. That was never my goal. I want to write comics, but I do like this. I do like spending time with my friends. I do like harassing Caleb that he doesn't have a giraffe for me. I've met just.
There's
You
a
guys don't
story
even know
there,
the giraffe. What's
and
up?
it scares. There's a story there, and it scares me. So
I've harassed him so much that he's put it on an add-on as his campaigns.
So a few years ago, I did a campaign that was like called "Help Me Design This Giraffe," where I drew a giraffe, and then everyone who backed it got to add one thing to the giraffe that I would draw onto it. And then I did a couple of sequels to that. And Travis is insatiable and wants more giraffe content all the time. And they were very low earning campaigns. They're very silly campaigns, but you know, Travis always wants more.
Here's the thing, and maybe since Steve's here and he's Canadian, he can probably understand this. A $300 campaign that makes me happy is far more important to me than Caleb gaking a $10,000 campaign that makes him happy. And I just don't understand the lack of communication. Why he doesn't understand that. Like, it's super stressful to me.
Right.
We're at an impasse here. We'll have to figure it out.
The funny thing is, the first campaign I did on my own profile was the giraffe campaign. And so my URL, it says, like, if I look at my campaign right now, it says kickstarter.com/projects/giraffe design/dragon grit 1, because you cannot change your custom URL.
You can't do it, but if you message them, they'll change it. I changed mine because mine was broke down in 4 Dead Bodies 4 for years.
Oh man, okay. I guess I gotta message them because I've been giraffe design for years.
But yeah, you can't do it yourself, but you can ask them and they'll reset it. We can change it.
Okay.
But thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate you guys. I'm glad you guys got some backers. You guys have great campaigns. I've tweeted them out. I've backed and supported all of you guys. Other people have backed and supported you guys. Let's keep this train going. Julius, you have 9 days, so you need some funding. Caleb, you just started. You got 30 days, but you just meet your minimum funding goal, like you said. You know, you just have enough to make the book.
Yeah,
Let's try to get some
congratulations.
stretch goals.
Thank you.
And Steve, you have 20 days. You're on the right path, and I think we hopefully you take some of that advice and we can get you across the finish line.
No, most definitely. Thanks again.
No problem. All right, I'm going to do my outro. Peace out, everybody. Live free, die. Make some comics.